All right, man. Cheers.
Cheers.
Great. Let me move a little bit. Cool. Once again, Mika, wonderful sake.
Very good.
Just as it was before.
Yeah.
Once again, Echigo Tsuru Kame Junmai Dai Ginjo. Love this.
Yeah.
Please get it again if you can. So today I wanted to talk to you about the topic of harassment, because one thing that I've noticed here is how in Japanese you have nanchara hara on so many things. You have sekuhara, which I mean that exists, of course.
Yep.
You have powahara, power harassment, and recently you have kasuhara, customer harassment.
Yeah.
Which I don't think customer harassment definitely exists in America.
Oh,
but
God, does it?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole word, Karen.
Yeah.
That's like she's like the OG, the original
customer harassment,
the original customer harassment person. Yeah.
But
Let
we
me
don't
talk to your manager.
Yeah. but we don't necessarily have a word for the action. Like, oh, this counts as customer harassment. This is against the rules. Because I was on the bus. And they had a sign saying, "Stop customer harassment. Stop yelling at the bus driver. Stop touching the bus driver," stuff. And I've never seen, I've seen it's a federal crime to hurt the conductor or whatever, but I haven't seen like stop customer harassment thing. I feel like in Japan, this hara is added to so many things.
Yeah, but I think it's necessary.
Yeah.
And the reason why is, I don't know about you, but I have experienced harassment a lot in Japan.
Dude,
I have so many examples. I want to talk about some stories.
I see it a lot. I don't really experience it because I'm a hermit.
Yeah.
But
so when I say experience, I'm not necessarily talking about harassment directed at me.
Yeah.
But I have had that happen, but I've observed a lot of harassment too.
Yeah. Yeah, me
like,
too.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm gonna talk about a couple stories.
Yeah.
I'll start with the most recent one. So I lost my Suica card last month.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal because I have a Teikiken.
Yeah.
And I have a rather very, very expensive Teikiken.
Yeah,
because it goes from Shonan all the way to basically
almost Saitama.
Basically Saitama. I'm around like Akabane. So it's like I literally look out my window and I see Kawaguchi.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so basically that covers like all of Tokyo.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, if somebody found my Suica, it's like that's a pretty far amount of train time they can get for free. But also it's very expensive for me. Like if I lose my Suica, every day was costing me about 3,000 yen on the train.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So that sucked. So, but luckily, Japan has a really good system for the trains, like the best in the world, but like not even close. So if you lose your Suica, it's no big deal. You just go to the train station, you talk to the staff, and they will make you a new Suica, and it takes about a day.
Yeah.
Right? But after that, they pull up your information, and it's no big deal. And so I lost my Suica, and this is the first time in Japan that's happened to me.
Yeah.
And so I had to look up like how to do it because I didn't know how to do it, but I knew you could.
Yeah.
Right. And so I found out the information. So I went to my train station in Fujisawa, and I go up to the staff counter, and it's kind of towards the end of the night.
Yeah.
Like I think they close at like 6:30, and I went in at about 6.
Yeah. So you're like the last customer.
Yeah, basically, right. And so I go up to the counter, and there's this guy behind like this grass screen, this glass screen, and he was very polite with me. He's like, "Oh yeah, what's your name?" Everything, and we encountered a problem because he didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
I think that he was probably new.
Yeah.
And his boss came up. I'm assuming, I don't think it was actually his boss. I think it was just his senior coworker, his senpai.
Yeah.
And he came up and he was just like really frustrated. It's like, like, doing all the like irritated sounds that, that sound. I hate that sound, by the way. Oh my God, I want to punch somebody when I hear it. Anyways, he's really frustrated, and like he just starts immediately berating the guy in Japanese about like, why can't you get your work done? This is such a simple matter. You just have to push his name in. Do you not know how to do that? And the guy's like, no, I don't know how to do that. And he's like, fine, I'll show you again. And he's like really like emphasizing that he's pushing in here. And he looks at me, and he like aggressively talks to me. He's like, what's your name? And I'm like, okay, well, my name's Austin. Your name's not in here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, can you look again? Okay, there's your name.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no shit, dude.
Yeah.
Do your job right, and you'll find my name. And so I'm starting to get visibly annoyed with this guy.
Why do you think he could find it on the second try, but not the first time?
So I'll tell you why. Mm-hmm. The reason why is the first time they were searching my name in katakana.
Okay.
And then the second time, he switched over and wrote it in Romanji.
I just want to talk about. I have so many problems with the tetsuzuki, with the systems here, because here's I'll tell you what happened. So my and I think this is important a little bit. So I need to do some sort of procedure for my business taxes kind of thing. The way that I do that is by logging in using my number card as for verification.
Yeah.
My number card has my name in English. My business registration has my name in katakana.
Oh God, you're fucked.
Because it had to. And so what happens is
so annoying.
So they said it doesn't match. So then I go to I correct it into katakana.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, please confirm your changes with your my number card. So I do it, and it switches into Romaji. I'm stuck.
Oh, dude, I'm in the same situation. I'm in the same situation with my bank. But anyways, so like he finds it.
Yeah.
And he like after he finds it, he starts berating the guy again for like, this is such a simple matter. Like, why do I have to do this? And then finally like ends the situation with like, ja, ori mo shigoto wari.
Yeah.
And then like walks off. And then so this whole time I'm sitting there and I'm just like fuming. I actually had to message you that day.
Yeah, I remember you sent me that message.
I was so angry. I was like, I was literally, it's like, dude, you can't talk to me like that.
Yeah.
Like especially as an American, if you're in America, you will get assaulted.
Yeah, someone will punch you in the face.
Someone will punch you in the face. You do not talk to people like that. It's so disrespectful. Yeah. And the entire time during this conversation, this guy's like, he never directly insulted me.
Yeah.
He insulted his coworker a lot, but he talked to me very aggressively, and I witnessed what he did with his coworker. And the entire time, I can't even concentrate on getting my new Suica because in my mind, I'm thinking like, this glass screen is not that thick.
Yeah.
Like if I punch this guy, I could hit him.
Yeah.
And like that's the mindset that I was on. I was so angry at the time.
Yeah.
And I came back to my house and I was really angry, and like I talked about it with my wife a lot. And like I wasn't angry at her obviously, but I was expressing like, here's how I feel. And so we talked a lot. I ended up messaging you and talking it out. Yeah. Like I was so angry about the situation. I eventually complained to it. But the thing that pissed me off the most was not actually him talking to me, but him talking to his coworker in front of me.
Yeah, right. I was going to say the big issue for us is you doing it in front of the customer.
It's so disrespectful to that guy that he's going to get berated not only by a senior coworker for honestly, like, dude, you're a trained staff. You just look on a computer. Let's not act like this is like some dire thing, right? You're just helping this guy out, and maybe the guy sucks at his job, but that's no reason to like berate him. But like the fact that you're doing that in front of customers, that's just unacceptable.
Yeah.
But the problem is you see it all the time in Japan.
Yeah.
You see it everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I remember one time I was in Asakusa, I went to a bakery, and I guess this woman ordered ahead of time.
Yeah.
And the order was going to...
Hey guys, if you've watched this far, you're going to love our Austin and Arthur friends.
In the Austin and Arthur friends, you're going to really improve your English listening, and I mean a lot. As a friend of ours, you will get each episode ahead of time with no ads, so you can watch before anyone else. But not just that, you can ask us questions or leave comments, and we will make a special video each week answering questions and responding to comments. These videos will not be released publicly. They are for friends, members only. It's a great way for you to ask our opinions directly and for us to respond directly. You'll also get listening practice questions and answers that you can check. Answers are for friends, members only. Oh, and anaume mondai mo desu ne. So you can check your listening. But not just that, for each episode, you'll get a list of native phrases we said from the video, along with practice sentences and pronunciation practice to help your speaking as well. You'll also get access to a members-only community where you can talk with us, the both of us. Mainly me, right?
No, definitely not.
This is a great way to support our show, but also get closer to us and improve your English as well. For more information, click on the link in the description box, the gayorang, or go to our website, austinandarthur.com. This woman ordered ahead of time.
Yeah.
And the order was going to take a little bit longer than they were anticipating.
Yeah.
And she was, this old lady was cussing out the customer.
Yeah.
She was cussing out the staff member in front of me.
Yeah.
And I felt really uncomfortable. And I'm thinking, listen, okay, if it's just a matter between the two of you, I can understand. But doing that in front of people, like, and she was saying things like, she's like, why don't you do your job? This is what you're supposed to do, right? I'm a customer. I'm a paid customer. Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
And she just like you know what's funny is like in America, a lot of times now the staff members will stand up to it.
Yeah. No. You don't do that in America.
I know. And that actually will escalate it a bit more. So both get angry. But in Japan, people are taught to de-escalate. So the woman was like, I'm so sorry. We're getting as fast as I can. I'm doing my best. And she was like putting herself lower. And the customer was like basically beating her with her words, even though she had already given up. It's like when it's like in a fight, when someone taps up, I'm done. And you just keep on beating them. Like that was really painful for me to watch.
Yeah. I saw a very similar situation on the bus.
Yeah.
This was about 2 years ago. We had a bus near my home.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for the bus. And the bus was 30 minutes late.
Yeah.
Which is like...
That's really bad.
That's unheard of in Japan. Like the bus, like trains are always on time. Sometimes they're a bit delayed, but most of the time they're like always on time.
Yeah.
Buses in Japan are usually like a couple minutes late.
Yeah. Yeah. Within 5 minutes.
This bus was 30 minutes late, which is obviously something that doesn't happen, you know? And I was frustrated. I was like, dude, why is this bus so freaking late?
Yeah.
But like, you know, when the bus came, I got on the bus, I beeped my card, and I sat down. I didn't say anything to the bus driver. The lady behind me got on, beeped her card, and then spent the next 5 minutes just screaming at the bus driver, why were you late? I've got things I need to do today. I got all these places I need to be. You were supposed to be here at this specific time, and you weren't here. Now I had to wait 30 extra minutes, and all these things are late. And it's like, she doesn't even know the situation.
Yeah.
There could have been like a car accident. The bus was like maybe a car or somebody hit the bus. Yeah. They got to stop and like you have to have the police come. Who knows? There's a million different situations that it's not the bus driver's fault that the bus was late.
Yeah.
But this guy has to sit here and listen to this idiot just like attack him over and over for something he doesn't even control.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, because in the States, like we talked about how people are more likely to defend themselves. So like actually just the other day, I saw this video on X of this customer getting angry. It was at a fast food place or something where the guy got angry at the person maybe getting his order wrong or something.
Yeah.
And the guy goes behind the counter and starts pushing him.
Yeah.
Just pushing him and then starts punching him. And the staff member, he like distracts him and then he uppercuts him big time. and the
like
customer just falls down. Like he just falls down. Basically. No. But it's funny because I feel like, in America, customer harassment definitely happens.
Yeah.
Violence definitely happens.
Yeah.
But we're okay with a sign that says, like, attacking a person is a federal offense or something like that. Whereas in Japan, it's almost like becoming a buzzword of like, we need to label the action, and then we can take measures against it.
Yeah, so that's the crazy thing, man.
Yeah.
I feel like we see this everywhere in Japan. I mean, like you'll see if you go into the train station, you'll see a lot of examples of this. You'll see signs that are on the pillars that say don't harass the train staff.
Yeah.
It's not their fault if the trains are delayed.
Yeah.
Right? You see women's only cars on trains.
Yeah.
Why does that exist? Because sexual harassment is such a problem to the extent that you have to dedicate cars on a train for women to feel safe in.
Yeah.
Just to avoid them being harassed, right? You have all these situations, and it's just crazy to me that there needs to be a sign for that.
Yeah. I think
it's such common sense.
So here's the thing, though. I think this really ties into the groupthink episode that we did. So just for the people watching, so we filmed an episode before this that I think we're going to release after this. Maybe I need to change the scheduling, but we were talking about how basically if you're in the group, you're accepted and you know your role. If you're outside of the group, no one knows what to do with you, basically.
Yeah.
And I think in Japan, you have to put a label on something so that people will know the rules. These are the rules. Because outside of the clear delineation of this box, what this is, people don't know how to act. Because like in America, if a situation happens to you, you're going to decide to fix it on your own terms. If there's no procedure, if there's no protocol.
Yeah.
Whereas in Japan, if there's no protocol, you just kind of don't know what to do and you freeze.
Yeah.
And so people acting in unorthodox ways can really abuse the system.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why it's not just saying don't hit the conductor or something, because I've seen those before. But now they're putting this word customer harassment, power harassment, because in the States, it's like if your manager was being a jerk to you, you take matters into your own hands.
You just tell the guy to F off and quit that day.
Yeah, right, exactly. Right. But now, because now it has this label of power harassment, now people are like, oh, okay, now I know what to do.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you, it's really interesting because if you look at the system that's set up here, like in the business world, right? You look at, I know you've never worked for a Japanese company, but have you been into like an office building before here in Japan?
Yeah.
Do you know how, if you watch TV shows, you can see examples of this. The way offices are structured here in Japan is there's really no privacy.
Yeah, right.
Right?
It's all open.
You have all your desks lined up and you're sitting alongside your coworkers and across from them and, behind them and everything. So everyone's next to each other. And then the shacho, or the boss, has his own desk over here, overlooking everything, right? There's no walls or anything. It's all open. And one of the things that you will see in that situation, because it's very similar for teachers, by the way, one of the things is if you have a dickhead boss who just really likes to, shove his power everywhere, he will call people up to his desk in front of everyone and berate them.
Man.
Like, hey, you made a mistake on this. And it's like, yeah, okay, maybe this person did make a mistake, but you are telling everybody, you're telling all of their coworkers and colleagues about their mistake publicly.
Yeah.
That is power harassment.
Yeah.
That is textbook power harassment. And I think for the longest time, probably up until maybe about 2 years ago, nobody ever said anything about that.
Yeah, right.
Now you're getting situations where people will stand up to it. And I'll give you an example of this. I had a coworker. She was a nurse at our school, and she was constantly butting heads with the upper management in our school, and the boss, the vice principal, called her up to the desk, and she refused to go.
Yeah.
She's like, if you have a problem, you can email me.
Yeah.
And she said that like right when they called her up, like, oh, come over here during one of our meetings, like at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, if you have a problem, you can email me. I'm not going to let you come up and like, attack me in front of everybody. And everybody was like, oh, whoa, you can do that?
Oh, you can do that? Yeah. Yeah.
Like it was such like a click moment. Like, I just assumed if you got in trouble, like you have to go and get your public, belittlement. Like, it's like, it was such like a mind blowing moment.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking around like, guys, what?
This is common sense. It should be common sense.
Like, why would you let this man just like berate you in front of people? Like,
yeah.
Why would you think this is okay?
Yeah. No, it's funny because like, it goes down to how like, this does bleed into our other episode, but it's almost like unless there's a strictly codified rule or procedure or expected procedure for how to handle something, you default to what everyone else is doing. But the problem is the group is inherently less intelligent than the individual. It's funny because this is probably going to get me canceled, but I read Mein Kampf from Hitler, and because I wanted to figure out like what was this guy thinking, like what was driving this guy, because he's like the enemy of the 20th century, and he said that the mass is stupid, and you cannot talk to them about meaningful messages. So the simpler the message, the better, which is why he ended up becoming so powerful, because he would have his face and then have like one or two words there. Whereas everyone else was making these like sophisticated advertisements, but it doesn't work that way in the group. And so when you have someone who's the leader of a group, they can really manipulate the group because everyone kind of goes down to the lowest common denominator, we say, Yeah. So it's like in Japan, it really defaults to that unless you have a specific rule in place. But then again, even then, like, so near this office, there's a shopping mall. Yeah. And there's a huge rack where you can put probably about 150 bikes. And right next to the end of that is a clear sign on a pedestal kind of thing that says, "Don't park your bikes here." And then there's stickers on the floor next to it saying, "Don't park your bikes here." And on the weekend, there's 70 bikes there on top of the sign that says, "Don't put your bike there," because there's a rule there, but then everyone looks at everyone else and says, "Oh, no one else is following this rule, so I don't have to follow this rule. Let me park my bike here because nothing's going to happen." So it's almost like the rules are subordinate to the group. Yeah. In a lot of ways. Yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, but just like a lot of.
No, I think you're basically explaining that like once things have been decided here in Japan, it almost like doesn't matter what reality is, because it's like this is the accepted reality, so this is now the new reality. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's kind of like, so yeah, I mean, it's good that we kind of talked about this, because for a long time I was thinking, what's the deal with all this like powahara, kasuhara, all these words, but it stems back to that groupthink stuff,
Yeah. And here's another thing that I find really interesting. So I've never personally been in a situation where police were involved here in Japan. But
let's hope not.
Yeah. I've talked with people who've dealt with police, and
Japanese or foreigners?
Both. And one of the things that I find really interesting is you can get in a lot of trouble if you are a bystander that involves yourself into a situation here in Japan.
Yeah.
Right? So if you see somebody being assaulted, for example, like you see a woman being hit in the street, you can become liable for your actions in that moment.
Yeah.
Which is really surprising to me.
Yeah.
Because I think, there's still that exists in the U.S., but I think there's a lot of
If it involves someone's death, then yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I'll give you an example. In the U.S.,
Is it Good Samaritan laws?
yeah, I think that's kind of associated with this. But there's a thing where there's a law set up that basically, if you see something happen that you perceive to be happening, like someone's getting mugged or, some kind of crime happening or some bad thing happening, and you insert yourself in the situation from a desire to stop it and protect the person that's being attacked, right? Things that happen after that, a lot of times in court will be dismissed, especially because America runs by a jury system.
Yeah.
So the judge doesn't actually really get to make the final decision.
Yeah.
It's
He does the sentencing.
He does the sentencing, but the jury is really in charge of doing the final decision, right? And so what that means is, like, normal people listen to your perspective on the thing and they go, well, like, I'll give you an example. Let's say there is a guy attacking a woman in public, and maybe the guy is drunk, right? And some other guy or girl, if you really want to talk about it, but it doesn't matter. Some other guy inserts himself in the situation, punches the guy falls back, hits his head on a curb and dies.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if you look at the textbook law of the situation, you would see that this man walked up and assaulted somebody and resulted in their death, which would result in manslaughter.
Yeah,
right? There's a manslaughter. It's not murder, it's manslaughter, right?
Yeah.
The intent wasn't to kill, but the guy died from the situation, right? Now, anybody who's in a jury is going to look at that situation and go, well, yeah, okay, the guy died, but, like, he was abusing this woman in public. This person stepped in to help.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks that the guy died, but, like, let's be real. Like, this guy's not guilty of anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But here in Japan, that's not necessarily the case.
Right.
You're still liable for what you do.
Yeah.
And so what happens when you have a system set up for that is you have a lot of people who witness something happening and go, I could get in trouble if I step in, so I just I just don't want to. I don't want to associate myself with this.
Right.
That's not good, I think.
Yeah, no, it's tough because, on the one hand, on the American side, you can have things getting too out of control.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, things are very much more contained, but then a lot of crap happens,
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely no system is perfect, but one of the things that I am really happy about is we are seeing changes happening here in Japan. I think people are being more aware.
Yeah.
And it probably is because of, like, what you said with the sign. It is like, okay, the rules have been established, guys.
Yeah.
You got some sneaky ones in us before when we didn't have the sign up, but we got the sign up now, so don't be doing that.
Yeah, man. So I'm really curious to hear from you guys about the viewers about this, like, kasuhara, powahara stuff. Like, have you guys had any experiences about that, or what do you like? I'm curious to think about you guys critiquing my idea of, Japan is so groupthink, community centered that you need to vocalize and say this is the category before people will act. Like, that's kind of a criticism on my side.
Yeah.
I'm curious about what you guys think about that, and if you think I'm totally off base. But what about you?
So I kind of have a similar thing, but I really want to bring up this because I think it's relevant and important to the situation, but it might also upset some people. But a lot of the world looks at Japan as weak.
Yeah.
In this situation, right? A lot of the world is very aware of the sexual harassment, power harassment problems in Japan. And a lot of other countries, mostly Western countries, look at that as weak. Like, why are your people not standing up to yourselves? Yeah. And I'm not saying that's my personal belief. I'm just saying from a Western point of view, that's how people look at Japan. And my question to you is, do you agree with that? Do you disagree? And what can we do to change it if you do agree?
Yeah. This is really great, man. Yeah, before we're like, oh, we don't have very much to say about this, but this really like blew up, man.
I mean, once the ball gets rolling, man, it's just like you start remembering like, oh yeah, that person actually sucked. Let me tell about this story.
Yeah. All right, I'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.